everybody. And I'm in this interesting place, and I'm wanting to go on with my testimony, but what I'm thinking is that prophecy is sounding really good right now, and with the way everything is going in the world. But what I am going to do is I am going to talk about prophecy, and I'm going to talk about Matthew chapter 24. And obviously this almost looks like an empty little platform, speaking platform. And sometimes I wonder if anybody even cares or wants to listen. And you know what? If God asks you to do something, then do it. Because there are people that need to hear what the Lord has to say, and sometimes the only way they'll listen is through something like this. You just never know. So here I go. Matthew 24 is an awesome passage to me. Of course, Revelation sounding great. There's Daniel, there's Ezekiel, there's Isaiah, and I'm going to start reading, and it's probably, there's 1 through 51. And I'll see how far I get today. Okay, Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him the buildings of the temple. But he answered them, "You see all these, do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be left here one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." And then the next section is starting in verse 3, talking about the end of the age. Signs of the end of the age. See if you when I'm reading this, think about if there's any of these things that sound familiar. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" And Jesus answered them, "See that no one leads you astray. For many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ.' And they will lead many astray, and you will hear wars and rumors of wars." That sounds familiar. "See that you are not alarmed." Wow, he says not to be alarmed. "For this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation." That sounds a little familiar too. "And kingdom against kingdom, and there will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of birth pains. Then they will deliver you up to tribulation." It doesn't say they might deliver you up to tribulation. It says they will. "And put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another." Ooh, that sounds familiar too right now. "And many false prophets will arise and lead many astray. And because the lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures till the end will be saved. And this gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations, and then the end will come." So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let no one who is on the housetop, let the one who is on the housetop not go down to take what is in his house, and let the one who is in the field not turn back to take his cloak. And alas for women who are pregnant, and for those who are nursing infants in those days. Pray that your plight may not be in winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as not been since the beginning of the world until now. And call me crazy, but I've actually prayed that. I've prayed that it wouldn't be in the winter for the ones that this is going to be happening to. And never, it says, it has not been from the beginning of the world until now, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. If anyone says to you, look, here's the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs and false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead astray, if possible, even the elect. And see, that's crazy. I love the Lord with all my heart, all my mind, all my soul, my strength, and I feel like I am part of the elect. I want to be part of the elect. And he says that Satan's even going to try to deceive them. I have told you beforehand, so if they say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. If they say, look, he's in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines as far as the west, so will it be with the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. That's a crazy verse. It says, immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of heavens will be shaken. Then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory, and as believers are looking forward to that. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from the end of heaven, from one end of heaven to the other. And then here's a lesson of the fig tree. It says, from the fig tree, learn its lesson. As soon as the branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see all these things happening, you know that he is near, at the very gates. Jesus at the very gates, waiting to come get us. Truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. But concerning that day or the hour, no one knows. So if somebody's saying, hey, Jesus is going to come back on this day at this time, not going to happen. And they don't know. It says, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking and marrying and giving in marriage, until the day when Noah entered the ark. And they were unaware of until the flood came and swept them away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man, which is Jesus. Then 2 men will be in the field, and one will be taken and one left. 2 women will be grinding at the mill, and one will be taken and one left. Therefore, stay awake, for you do not know on what day your Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour that you do not expect. If you are delaying accepting Christ and following him, now's the time. Now's the time to follow the Lord, to follow Jesus. He's going to come when nobody's expecting it. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom his master has set over his household to give him their food at the proper time? Blessed is the servant whom his master will find doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set him over all his possessions. But if the wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants, and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at an hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces, and put him with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. People, be warned. This is in the Bible. There's more prophecy in here. The Lord has warned us. He has told us about all these things. And we need to be listening right now because there's so many signs. Love you all, and I will do another video with more of my testimony later. Bye.